The truth has a way of coming out no matter how deeply they try to bury it. For weeks, NASA maintained the official line: 3I Atlas is just a comet, a natural visitor and unafraid. But now, the pressure of data has become so overwhelming that silence has become an admission. The agency has been forced to acknowledge the changes in the object, anomalies so profound they force us to ask the question they fear most. Could this be the proof Harvard scientist Avi Loeb was hoping for all along? The admission didn't come in a grand press conference, but in a reluctant drip of data that simply can no longer be denied. First came the confirmation of an anti-tail, a jet of gas and dust pointing directly toward the sun. This bizarre behavior defies basic cometary physics, which dictates that the tail should always point away from the star. Then came the chemical composition, an abundance of nickel relative to iron, similar to industrial alloys, and a scarcity of water, the main component of any known comet. Each of these facts on its own would be a curiosity. Together, they form the basis of Loeb's theory. Years ago, he was criticized for suggesting that Oumuamua was alien technology. He warned us to look for anomalies in future visitors. Now, 3I Atlas presents not just one, but a set of at least 8 distinct anomalies he predicted. Its massive size, orders of magnitude larger than previous visitors, and its nearly impossible trajectory, aligned with the plane of our own solar system with a probability of 0.2%, paint the picture of something deliberate, not random. The changes NASA now admits are not changes in the object. They are changes in our understanding, forced by the evidence that Loeb may have been right all along. And this brings us to the definitive proof that remains hidden. In early October, NASA's high-rise camera, aboard the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, captured the sharpest images ever taken of 3I Atlas as it passed by Mars. Loeb himself and the entire astronomical community await the release of these images, which could end the debate. But the weeks pass, and a suspicious silence emanates from the agency. What did NASA see in those images that forced them to admit the anomalies but prevents them from showing us the full truth? Are they preparing us for a revelation? Or are they simply running out of time to contain the story? Their time is running out because soon we will all be in the dark. The truth has a way of coming out, no matter how deeply they try to bury it. For weeks, the official narrative was rigidly maintained. 3I Atlas is just a comet, a natural, albeit unusual visitor. But now, the weight of evidence has become so overwhelming that the silence has shattered, forcing an admission. NASA has been forced to publicly acknowledge the changes in the object, anomalies so profound that they lead us to the question they feared most. Was this the proof Harvard scientist Avi Loeb had been waiting for all along? The admission didn't come in a grand press conference, but in a reluctant drip of data that could no longer be denied. First, the confirmation of an anti-tail, a jet of gas and dust pointing directly at the sun, a behavior that defies basic cometary physics. Then, the chemical composition, an abundance of nickel relative to iron, similar to some industrial alloys, and a notable scarcity of water, which should be the main component of any comet. Each of these facts taken alone would be a scientific curiosity. Together, they form the precise basis of Loeb's theory. Years ago, he was publicly criticized for suggesting that Oumuamua, our first visitor, was alien technology. He warned us to look for anomalies in future objects. Now, 3I Atlas presents not just one, but a set of at least 8 distinct anomalies that align with his predictions. Its massive size, far larger than previous visitors, and its nearly impossible orbital trajectory, aligned with the plane of our own solar system with a probability of only 0.2%, paint the picture of something deliberate, not random. The changes NASA now admits to are not changes in the object. They are cracks in the official narrative, forced by the evidence that Loeb may have been right all along. And this brings us to the definitive proof that remains under lock and key. In early October, NASA's high-rise camera, aboard the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, captured the sharpest images ever taken of 3I Atlas during its flyby of Mars. Loeb himself, along with the entire astronomical community, eagerly awaits the release of these photographs, which could settle the debate once and for all. But the weeks drag on, and a suspicious silence emanates from the agency. What did NASA see in those images that forced them to admit the anomalies, but prevents them from showing us the full truth? Are they slowly preparing us for a shocking revelation, or are they simply running out of time to contain the story? Their time is running out because soon we will all be left in the dark. Tomorrow, October 21st, the curtain of silence will become an impenetrable wall. When 3i Atlas slips behind the sun, the last chance for independent observation will disappear, and NASA's strategy will become horribly clear. Their silence isn't about bureaucracy or processing time. It's a tactic of containment. They're racing against the clock, hoping the cosmos itself will hide the object before the full truth emerges. And the truth lies in those high-rise images, the photographs that remain locked away from public scrutiny. Sources within the astronomy community, frustrated with the secrecy, suggest the images revealed something that undermines the unusual comet narrative. They didn't show a diffuse cloud of gas and dust. They showed a solid, defined body, with the infamous anti-tail emanating not from the entire surface, as would be expected from sublimating ice, but from a specific, asymmetrical point. This is proof of an engine, a propulsion plume, visual confirmation that the object is under active control. This is the reason for the silence. Releasing these images would be the end of the debate, the immediate and irrefutable validation of Avi Loeb's theory. It would be NASA admitting that a vehicle of unknown origin is maneuvering in our solar system. The admission of the changes was only the first step, an attempt to slowly prepare the public to soften the blow. But they no longer have time. Solar conjunction is the deadline. While the object is hidden from our eyes, it will make its most critical passage through perihelion, the point of closest approach to the sun. This is the moment of maximum energy, the perfect opportunity to use our star's gravity as a slingshot, not to accelerate and fly away, but to brake, to execute the orbital insertion maneuver it has been traveling for millennia. What NASA is hiding is no longer a photograph. It's a prediction. Its supercomputers have already calculated the possibilities, and the most likely scenario is the most terrifying. The fear paralyzing the agency isn't that the visitor is technological. The fear is that when it reappears before our telescopes in December, it will no longer be on an outbound trajectory. The fear is that its new route has placed it in a stable, permanent orbit. The fear is that the visitor has decided to stay. The countdown has come to an end. Today, October 20th, 2025, is the last day. Tomorrow, humanity will be blinded. When 3i Atlas begins its passage behind the sun, NASA's silence will become the only narrative, and the truth contained in those unrevealed images from the high-rise camera will be the planet's best-kept secret. What happens next transcends astronomy. It enters the realm of preparing for the unknown. The reluctant admission of the changes was the last gasp of official denial. Now, the game has changed. The propulsion plume, the metallic composition, the precise trajectory, the anomalies have solidified into a single, terrifying certainty. The object is a machine, and it is on a mission. For the next few weeks, as the world gazes at a blank spot in the sky, 3i Atlas will execute the maneuver it has traveled for eons. Upon reaching perihelion, its closest point to the sun, it will use our star's immense gravitational pull not to hurl itself outward, but as a brake. It is the final maneuver, the engine burn that will anchor it to its destination. NASA knows this. Their trajectory models have already revealed the most likely outcome, which is why panic is the dominant emotion behind closed doors. They are no longer debating the object's origin. They are debating how to announce its permanence. And then, in December, when the object emerges from the curtain of sunlight, the truth will become visible to all. The world's telescopes will confirm what NASA already knows. 3i Atlas's trajectory will have changed. It will no longer be on a hyperbolic escape route. It will be in a stable, long-term orbit, a new artificial planet in our solar system. At that moment, the debate will end. Avi Loeb will be vindicated on a scale even he could not have foreseen. Criticism will turn to fear. The question will no longer be, was he right? The question will be, what did he predict next? NASA's silence will be exposed for what it truly was. Not a failure of communication, but a desperate attempt to delay the inevitable. We are no longer the only intelligence in our own backyard. The arrival was not with a radio transmission or a greeting. It was with a silent and masterful maneuver of orbital engineering. The final revelation, the truth that freezes the blood at the highest levels of power, is that the visitor did not come for a brief visit. He came to stay. And now, the question that will define human existence is no longer about what is up there. It is about what a neighbor so ancient, so powerful, and so silent will want from us. Today is the last day of speculation, the point of no return. Tomorrow, October 21st, 2025, 3I Atlas will disappear behind the sun, and NASA's silence will become absolute. The debate is over. The changes the agency was forced to admit are no longer anomalies. They are irrefutable proof that Avi Loeb was right, and that an object of unknown technology is executing a final maneuver in our cosmic backyard. We focused on the sky, hoping the truth would be revealed by a telescope image. But perhaps we've been looking in the wrong direction all along. While humanity held its breath waiting for a signal from space, the most important signal may have already been sent and received. The real anomaly may not be what's happening up there, but what's starting to happen down here.